this video we are going to see how to add this GSAP effect, and let me reload this page and show you what really happens. So first you can see the menu bar shows up, and then we have the text, and then the social icons, and then finally the image. Let me reload it and show you again. So to follow along, I'll leave the source code and the images in the description box so that you can follow along with me. We'll be creating everything from scratch, and I'll be explaining the GSAP code as well. Fine, let's get started. So we need a code editor. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code. Let me open the folder. So once you download the zip, you will find the zip folder in the download or any other folder which you have used to save. Now let me open the file. It's better we open the folder. So I have named the folder as Ep. Cool, you got this. So let me open this select folder. So here you can see we have index file, script file, JS file, style file, style.css, and the video image and the background image of mine. So you can use your image. I have used the PNG. That's the reason I have used mine. You can choose any other image which you like. I would prefer it as a PNG with transparent background so that we get this kind of looking effect. What you see at the background that's being noticeable, it is because I'm using PNG. Now let me create a new file and call it as index2.js. Control N, or you can click on control new file. So let me save it as index2.html, and we need a style sheet and script file as well. I will save it as style2.css and a2.css. Cool, excellent. The CSS. So without wasting, what we can do is we'll just use the same code what we have used it on the example file. We have the CDN of font awesome, which will allow us to have social links, social images, social media links and images. And then we need the GSAP library and our custom script file link. So we have style2.css, and then we have script2.js. and it's linked properly. Now if you want to see the work, you can simply get into index2.html. It's blank because we don't have nothing. Now let's create a container, and inside the container we need a row. So inside row we first need header. You can see header, and header will have logo section, and it's simply the text name, which is you monk. And after the header, in the same header we need nav links, and we'll use ul li, and inside li we'll have these links: home, about us, and contact us. 2 3 4. Cool. And that's it for the header. And we'll first design the header. Let's move it to the content, image, social link section subsequently. So for now we just need to have the font which I am using here is railway. Select all and import it. You'll get the link in the Google Fonts. So without wasting time, I just copy pasted it. And for all elements I need to remove the padding and margin and box sizing, border box, So now we need to call all the elements. We have created container, container container. Then we have created a row. Then inside row we have header, it's an HTML tag, and inside header we have logo, and inside header again we have nav class, and inside nav class we have unordered list, and then we have list type. So the reason for writing this kind of ways will eliminate the class repeatancy. Even if you have multiple class, this kind of writing structure will avoid, uh, even after using multiple class with same name. Actually class will be of same name. Let's say an example of ID. So if you have multiple ID of same name, if you use this kind of hierarchy CSS writing CSS rule, this can eliminate the conflict. Cool. Now let's get started. So for the body, what we can do is we'll use display flex line items center, justify content center. So whatever is there in the body, it will appear at the center of the screen, and I want the background of the body to be black. And for the container I would have the background color of purple. Now at present only black will show up. So this is black, and this is because the links you have got. So whatever is the container color to be of white. So let's give the width of the container as 100% and height of the container as 100%. This 100% will only work according to the container. So the container's container is body, so it will take the height and width of the body. So height 100 viewport height, width 100 viewport width. Refresh it. Now this is taking the width of the container. If you make this 90%, there will be space at the bottom, and top you can see 5% and 5% because you have used display flex. Cool. Let this be 100%. Now what we need is, let me refresh this. We have a row, so let's give the padding to the row of top 1 vertical width, viewport width, and bottom 4 viewport width, 2 and 4, and left and right. For right, let this be 9 viewport width, let this be 2. So left and right be 2 viewport width. So now you got some width. Okay, if you want to make, you can make 5. Cool, that's working. Now for the header, let the width be 100%, and now for the logo, which is the child of header, let's use the width of 25%, and rest let's give it to the nav bar, which is 75%. Refresh it. So now to make this happen, it is because it is one below the other. The one has the 25% width and the other has the 75%. So if you make it left and right, so let me just show you the color what is happening. Background red. So one has 25 and one has 75. Now let's make this side by side. That means I want to be as a column. So display flex align items center. Actually align items won't really be high, so let it be. So align justify content center. Cool, you got it. Now there is no need of this. let's increase the size of, so for everything before we'll give all element, let the font family be railway, RALEWAY. It should be in inverted comma, or you can say double quotes. So you got, so there are font weight of 300, 500, 700 and 900. So now you can adjust the font weight. So let me go with the boldest font weight of 700, not the boldest, the second boldest, and we can give the font size of 45 pixels. This is too much, I believe. So now we have unordered list. So as I said, side by side display flex, and remove the list bullet list style none, and we need margin top bottom 10 pixel, left and right 20 pixel, and I want these to be at the right. So justify content flex end. It's taking time to reload. So actually what is happening is, this is the container, it need to be over here. The list style won't work for this time. You got it? So I'm leaving this to you. You can see the padding margin, I'm leaving this to you. We can't read this, I'm just explaining. Let's just avoid the pixel perfect way of CSS. Now you can see there is some much padding on the right, so you can give, for the UL you can give margin right of, let's say, 80 pixel. That's done. Now let's focus on the content. So without wasting time, I would like to copy the content, because it's actually a plain HTML, nothing much in there. On the HTML we have row, we have completed the header. Now it's time for the second important div, which is content. Inside the content we have span tag, we have h1, h3, paragraph and button. So let's just use it as a hierarchy. We have content has as the first child it's span, as a second child it's h1, and as a third child is h3, and we have paragraph after that, and then we have button. Cool. Now refresh this. If it is saved, you will see the text content. Now we can give the width to the container, let's say 50%, to adjust the paragraph width. Can still make it smaller or shorter in terms of width. Now we want to place this at the center, so the best way of placing is using position absolute, left of 0%, top of 40%. We can adjust it to 5%, and now it's time for making this more readable. So let the font size of this be 20 pixel and font weight be 900, because it's going to be the boldest. And you can use text transform to convert it to uppercase. And now we have h1, font size of 35 pixel. I'm leaving this to you. 65. Let the font weight be as it is. Copy this and give this to h3, 45. and let the font weight be slightly, let's make this 500, and let's add the margin top, top and bottom, left and right 0, and for the button we just need outline 2 pixels solid white, and let the background be transparent, and let the font size be 85 pixel, and let the color be white, and let's add padding so that we get some space letter, and the top bottom left right 10 pixel, and for the paragraph line height 25. So I'm leaving this to you, you can have as much you want. Let's go with EM 1 EM 1.5 EM. Cool, that works. Now let me make the position a little more top based, so let's make this 30 or 26, 25, 24. So we need some space for the video. So actually the font is cool, but what we have missing is the actual font size. So I'm not going to copy paste the font size, I'm leaving this to you. You do as good as you want. So let the font weight be thin, which is 300. Cool. Now it's time to have the image. Cool, that is done. Now let's focus on the image container. So let me again copy paste the text, which is straightforward. We have hero section, and inside the hero section we have hero banner. So hero banner is our image, and this caption item is the background images. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4. Fine. Now let me write the CSS for it. In case if you're confused, you can just copy this and paste it over here and just comment this using control and forward slash. Now you can just have hero section, and inside the hero section we have hero banner, and inside the hero banner we have our actual image, and again inside hero we have caption item, and inside caption item we have, sorry for that, we have caption capped, and to identify individually we have 1, 2 and 3. So for that, let this be individual, so it will act as a common 2, 3 and 4. So this is 1. Cool. Now if you refresh it, you will find the image, it will be too large to support. Now let's just design it. So let's give the width of 50%. Cool, let's give the width of 50%, and let's just give the width of the hero banner as 50% and height as 100%. And for the image, it should agree with the container's width and height. So let's give the width and height as 100%. Now let's see how does it looks. So this is, if you change this inside all the child will change appropriately. Too much, I guess. So actually it's fine. Can make this 90. Now we need to position this. Position absolute bottom 0 and left of, let's say, 50 percentage. Can still make this 80. Left of 45 minus 10 percentage. Cool. Now you got a scroll bar. To remove the scroll bar, get into the body and make overflow hidden. Cool, that works. $85 would be right. Then I will just focus on the cap item. Again, we'll use the same left and everything, except we'll give z index to this creator because it's an image. Let's make this 2, and this is whatever is inside. It's going to be just 1. So default, it's going to have width of 18 vertical width and a height of let's say 65 vertical width. And to see them individually, we need to give background color, right? Just see how does it looks. So we need to use transform, translate x-axis minus 45 percentage. Now you can make this 35, 30, 25. So we have to make this also 25. There's intent problem. Now we need to give border radius 700 pixel. Let me scroll and bottom, instead of minus, let me make this minus 24, minus 34, minus 44. Cool. Now we have to rotate this, transform, rotate 65 degree. I think starting from 25 would be great. GSAP is working with internet, that's the reason. So there is some mistake we are doing. You can see, let's get into the console and let's see what actually is causing the problem. Okay, we have to give them individually. Give the stem to 1, and of course we have given position. Instead of giving position to this, let's give them to all the individual item. So everything will be one below the other. Let's see what is causing this face. width of this hero section was causing the issue. Now that we have solved it, so let's take this behind z index -1. Cool. The same way, we just need to give the appropriate background color to each, along with change of degree 35, 45, 55. And we can increase the height so they don't see one. And don't forget to give the transform origin bottom, and left. Now the height is very too much. Fifty-five, and top 55. So we have to adjust 75, not working. 55, 65. Actually, it's not bottom. We have to get into the top. So the more closer you are to the bottom, the more higher. Cool. And left -10%, and that's it. We got it. Now let's just change the color according to the style sheet. So first we have this. This is for the 1. This is for the 2. This is for the 3. And finally this is for the 4. Let's just see how does it. Pretty same, except we have to drag this on the left side. So let's try to push the hero section towards the left. "35, 38, that's cool. Now finally we just need the buttons, social links. So here we have the nav bar. Let me copy this and paste it below the hero section. This is going to be the second last section, and just paste it on the CSS. For the hierarchy we are going to create, we have side nav. Cool. Now we need to make this sticky position absolute. Right going to be 0. Refresh it and see the change. And for the social links we are not going to touch anything. Let's add a padding to the I tag, 15 pixel. So remove the list style, none, removing the bullet. And from the top, let this be 50% so that the center. So to make it actually center, we have to use transform translate x, sorry, now this time y, -50%. We can increase the font size. Cool, everything looks fine. Now it's time to give the background color to the UL. Background white, and change the color of the I tag to contrast, such as black. So everything is there except the container, so I'm leaving those to you. It is going to be same as position absolute, and at present we don't have space. That's the reason I'm leaving it. So I'm leaving this to you now. Let's get into GSAP work. Let me copy the first thing, and everything is going to be copy paste. We're just first creating the timeline from the GSAP. We're calling the GSAP timeline function, and this is our timeline. And we are calling this timeline every time, not every time. We'll be chaining the timeline function with the from function. Timeline is an object, and from we will be chaining it. So choose the container first, and it should come from y-axis, and the duration of the animation need to be 1.5, and from 0 and to the actual height, which is 100, and from opacity, which is 0, and to the actual height, opacity 1, and this is async, which comes from GSAP. So now let me refresh it and check the changes. Refresh again. If you want to remove make the durations more, you can make this 2.5. Now the second animation is header. So from, so we'll just copy paste it. Now call the same thing, chain it with, now we are going to call header class. Header is not a class, header is an HTML, and it should come from again minus 200% from the top. Duration is going to be 1 second. Refresh it. Now then we have, actually you see content is a class, so dot is required. And now we can see there is no space between the header and the, so we will call them individually. We need to pass an array, first one, and then comma, then second one. So we have logo, which is a class, and then we have a nav class. So these need to have the spacing between them as a the animation gap between them is 1 second. So we will be using stagger of 1. So if you see, the logo comes, and then after 1 second we get the menu. In the same way we can make use of this over here, and we have content class. First content we have h1, and then we have h3. Refresh it. First h1 will come, then comes the h3. So there is no stagger, that is the reason both of them has come at the same time. So for the second one we need paragraph, and then button, instead of coming from the left, we'll make this come from top, and then we have span, and we'll have the social links come up at the same time. So let's get into the class, the social links side nav. So we'll use separate for social links, or comma side nav, span and button at the same time. And for the side nav, that is come from X, and we don't have to add height to everything. That is the reason it is jumping. We'll just have height only to the container. And then on the caption items, we have cap, and of course we need stagger. STAGGR. We have cap is a class. So everything is on line. This time we need height of 0. Duration need to be very small, 0.2 or 3 something. And finally we need to animate the image, and our GSAP is done. Can make delay as well, delay of 0.1 second. We need to, it's an object, so to separate we need to use comma. And finally the image, hero image. From X, from opacity 0, actually we have opacity 0 at the top, at the bottom. Duration 0.5 second, delay let this be 0.1, and we don't need stagger because we are just have only one div. So play with it, play with the X and Y, play with the opacity, play with the height. Delay is causing that. We'll make delays, remove the delays of 1. Okay, I think the caption is also inside the div, that's the reason it is making that problem. So we'll call hero banner instead of hero.